Hello, hello. How's it going, Dane?
I'm good. How we doing?
Pretty good. Do you have tea today? What are you drinking?
I do have tea, and I also
Yeah?
have Dr. Pepper Zero, which
Dr.
is
Pepper Zero. Okay, that's it. Do you pour them together?
no. Should I? I don't know. Maybe I'll try it
Maybe
out.
you should do it right now, and then I'll watch you.
All right. Well, let me drink some of this. It's Earl Grey tea, so I don't know how well it will mix, but I'll do it. I was thinking about it earlier, actually.
No, you weren't. Let's do it. I want to. I want to do it. This is a bold move. Is it gonna be like lukewarm?
Oh, yeah. There's ice in it now, so it's gonna be some colder
I'm
mixed
into
tea.
this.
We'll give it a shot. See what it
Okay.
tastes like. Do not recommend. I
Describe
had
the
high hopes.
flavor.
I had high
describe
hopes.
describe the
Mm.
flavor profile.
Well, I would say the Earl Grey really washes out the Dr. Pepper Zero, which I thought it would be the opposite, to be fair. I thought like the Dr. Pepper would take over, but now that Earl Grey is strong. Maybe it's because the tea bag's in there, but
You left
not
it in there.
terrible. I'll still drink it. I'll
You
still
left
drink
the
it.
tea bag in there. Okay.
Yeah.
Um, how long do you steep a tea for? Because that's interesting. I usually take it out rather quickly, like maybe after 2 minutes.
Yeah. I probably should just take it out. I'm not a proficient tea drinker. I do
Okay.
things wrong
Okay.
all the time.
Okay. I don't, I'm not a gatekeeper. I don't know if there's a right or wrong way to drink tea.
You have like a listen, you have a tea set that automatically makes you a tea connoisseur. I'm sorry to
I
say.
do have a tea set. I will say that just because I have like a tea for one set, but I also, which I've never shown to you guys, I have a full service for tea for four. And it's like the full afternoon tea. Like in the overlay, there's like the tier
Yeah.
tray. It has 3 tiers. I've made a full afternoon tea. I've invited people over for full afternoon tea before.
Melanie, none of this shocks me. None of this is shocking revelation. I would have assumed you had all this stuff. So I think we have to correctly edit the little tiered thing on the overlay then, because
Yes, the overlay is
looks
not
like
how you
just
serve afternoon tea.
it's just all macaroons on there. That's all it is.
um, do you like macarons?
You know, maybe it's because I haven't had like a really good one. I'm not like going out of my way to
Oh,
buy them.
okay.
Like most of the time, if I've ever had a macaroon, they've been like store bought. So
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if they're supposed to be like kind of hard on the like when you bite into it, like it's got a little bit of a hard texture to it. I don't know if that's
Um, yes, that's very descriptive. Okay, here's what I will also say. I I do make macarons very often. I don't even know if I like eating them that much. I think I like
yeah.
making them and perfecting them more than I like eating them. The texture you want is there's a
Hmm.
light crunch. It's not going to be hard. It has like
Yeah.
a thin uh it's like a little crunchy shell, but once you
Hmm.
break the layer of the outside, then it's chewy. It's going to
Yeah.
be like a chewy
Yeah,
texture in
that's
your mouth.
exactly what it is. And is it because just you can do so much with macaroons, like in terms of designs and stuff like that? Is that why you like making them?
I like making them because there is a very thin margin of error to make them.
Oh,
Um, they're very easy to mess up, and there's something weird inside of me that makes me want to.
you like living on the edge when it comes to your baking.
Yeah, I think I want to rise to the challenge of baking the cookies.
That's a very good baking pun. Way to go. Now, like, have
uh,
you ever tried your hand at a souffle? Because I feel that's like next level.
I have thought about it. I've never made a souffle before. Maybe that's something that I'll have to try.
Well, if you like kind of dancing on that tightrope of baking, in all the movies and all the, pop culture, apparently souffle is like the hardest thing. You gotta be
Yeah, you have
quiet
to be
and all
quiet.
this stuff.
Apparently, apparently it's so delicate. Can't be loud. Kara says, in Florida last week, Wilbon came out to the pool between training sessions and he brought me a perfect raspberry macaron. I ate it before I realized I should have taken a photo for Melanie. Oh, that's so cute. I love that.
We're gonna
Oh,
get
it
like
sounds
a
delicious.
great British Bake Off here, and it's gonna be all Melanie.
Oh my gosh, they go hard on the Great British Bake Off. I feel like I might have been okay in the earlier seasons when people were just normal home bakers,
Yeah.
but now they're so good. Everybody's semi-professional now. It's too
Have
much
you ever seen
competition.
Have you ever seen the show? Is it Cake? You ever
Yes.
seen that
Okay.
show?
All right. I have opinions about things that look like cakes but aren't cake. It's not the fact that it looks like something else. That's fine with
Hmm.
me. It's the use of fondant. I think
Oh,
fondant is very disgusting.
yeah.
And for me, what comes first is flavor. So I think you always want to go with maybe a buttercream. I think if you can make something beautiful with buttercream, I'm very impressed, but I'm not impressed by fondant because you're just enveloping the whole thing in just edible Play-Doh, which I
Yeah, I
don't.
was gonna say, isn't it like a waxy kind of like? It looks like it's like a waxy kind of like. I don't know. You ever seen those like Baby Bell cheeses that you open up
Yes, yes.
with
It's
like the
it's not
red
wax.
wax?
It is sugar. It is
Yeah.
technically icing, but I have made fondant before. It is the texture of Play-Doh in your mouth and the flavor is just sweet.
Oh,
It's
bringing me back to
disgusting.
my
It's
childhood,
disgusting. Oh
eating Play-Doh.
gosh.
My childhood. No, I'm just kidding.
They're about on the same level. You might as well just put your cake in Play-Doh. It's disgusting. So I always imagine those things
You
that look
know,
like other things. Those
I
things that look
I
like
will
cakes are
say, you just gave me the greatest idea for like a practical joke. Is just like I'm just gonna bring like a container of Play-Doh filled with like
it's just
fondant,
fondant.
just start eating it. Just like roll it up and just eat
Oh my gosh, you should do that on stream.
it. I'll get a lot of looks and probably a lot of concerned people. Like, is he okay? Is he finally having a mental break? That might be the case.
Yeah. I need to point out your shirt, which is Deadlifts and Dragons. This is where did you get this shirt? Oh, is he deadlifting?
Yep, done deadlifting some D20s over there.
Okay, okay.
My girlfriend got this for me.
Oh yeah, okay. What kind of deadlifts do you do?
Um, Probably more so like Romanian deadlifts. If I'm doing anything. I'm
I
not
feel
like
like,
a
yeah.
not like a clean and jerk kind of person.
I don't know what a
Um,
clean and jerk is. What is that?
that's like where you'll see it in like like CrossFit kind of exercise where they do like the full like lift and like snap it up
Oh,
kind of thing,
that
and
looks
like
a little
sometimes they'll push
unsafe.
it up.
Is that safe?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I wouldn't do it. Like I just like I've hurt my shoulder in the past before, and that just looks like a recipe for disaster. But if you have the flexibility for a lot of those kind of exercises, which a lot of people don't, they try to go into that and it's too heavy or they don't do the technique properly, all that kind of stuff. So I just kind of stick with you know, just the stuff I can drop and not crush myself with
Yeah.
if I can help it.
Yeah, I also attempt to do Romanian deadlifts. I don't know how good my form is, but it's there.
All you got to do is you pick weights up and you put them down, and eventually you'll get strong.
That's what I'm trying to do, but you have to eat enough protein and that's really hard.
That is really, really challenging for a lot of people, and I feel like eating it is a challenge. It's probably easier if you just supplement with like protein shakes, to be quite frank. Just like
Hmm.
not like meal replacer shakes, just more so like a protein like isolate, something like that, to just add on to your your meals, really, or throughout the day. Because, like, you'll see those bodybuilders that have like a dozen eggs at like breakfast,
Yes.
and they have to eat like that. Like, it seems stupid, but they have to like eat that much. But like even eggs don't have like a ton of protein to them. It's like maybe like 8 grams or something like that for like a
Mm.
large egg. So you got to eat like a ton of them to do that. Or you can just get like a 25 to 30 grams of protein with like a protein shake, and you just mix it with water, just chug it down. You're not doing this for taste. You're doing it for gains.
That is so gross. I have known gym bros in my life, and what I've observed from them is that they have very puritanical views about food, where there's just so much chicken breast and veggies, but then
Yep.
also there is a notable lack of flavor, where it feels like if it tastes good, it's bad for you. It needs to be, if you're not suffering while you're eating, you're not doing it
Yeah,
correctly.
in a way it's almost true because it does get like, and it depends on people's, I would say, dedication to it.
Okay.
If someone's like wanting to become like a bodybuilder or something like that, yeah, it is one of those things where you have to get like your macros proper and all that kind of stuff. So, and when you think of the food components that give you flavor, typically it's fat and sugar that like,
Yeah.
you know, envelop this. No one's like, oh, this food tastes so proteiny, it's delicious. Like, no one ever says that. It's like, oh, it's so sugary, oh, it's so buttery, and it's all this kind of stuff. Those are literally, it's like sugar and fat. Those are like the flavors, and of course like salt. So that's probably the
Yeah.
only flavoring that a lot of these people have. It's like salt. Well, as seasonings typically have like no calories to them really, so it's
Yeah.
not like a huge dent. So you can still make it relatively like healthy, um, meals and things like that. But yeah, I remember like my one cousin did like bodybuilding and stuff like that, and
Yeah.
he sent me over his like training regimen, and it was chicken, rice, and broccoli for like every meal, and I'm like, I would not enjoy this whatsoever. I need a little
Yeah.
variety in my life.
Yeah, it takes an immense, like you said, amount of dedication, but I can't tell. I want to say sometimes it does feel like it borders along an eating disorder, but I don't think we usually think of it that way because they're so strong and fit and they're so big. So you don't think, "Oh, that guy's got a eating disorder."
Well, you could classify that as like a form of body dysmorphia, right? Where
Yeah.
some people that are like that maybe feel like they aren't where they want to be, or like, oh, I want to get bigger. And these kind of people will be like, oh, I got to work on my tricep, like this muscle of my tricep over here,
Yeah.
while this one looks really big, and they get very specific about their musculature, or like
Yeah.
the muscle striations. And have you ever like ever seen the kind of preparation people do before those bodybuilding competitions? Like, we're talking like a couple of days beforehand.
Okay, so I've never met a bodybuilder. These are just gym bros.
Hmm.
They have jobs and other stuff. This is just an extreme hobby. So I
Yeah.
do know what a body looks like when they spend every day at the gym, but they're not dehydrated.
Yeah. So that's kind of what like these like those kind of professional, like, the whole flexing in like
Yeah.
competitions and stuff. Like, they will dehydrate themselves for like
Yeah.
2 days, and then they're finally able to just crush all the food afterwards because they don't care. But like,
Yeah.
it's kind of like a similar thing for like fighters that are trying to make their weights, where
Mhm.
my dad was a high school wrestler, and he would always tell me
Mm.
that he would go in the sauna with like sweatpants and sweat gear on. You know, now they use like garbage bags and stuff that just
I was gonna say that they wrap themselves in a garbage bag and they go running or they go to the sauna. Yeah. It's so gross.
Yeah, and so my dad would tell me like he would be like skipping rope in the sauna in like sweatpants and sweat and he'd be so dehydrated he wouldn't even sweat. Like, he'd just be like he'd just be going and just drop tons of water weight, and that's how you really get to that level of definition, because it's like very minimal body fat. So at these points you have to you're cutting your calories to like a very extreme deficit to just reduce your body fat to like the maximum amount. But on the opposite end, like the bulking stuff, I say dedication because it really is like dedication. Like we're talking like 5 meals, 6 meals a day of like significant quantities. Like we aren't beating around the bush. There is a lot of food that you have to eat to maintain your muscle mass. And it is like 3,000 calories plus with like over like 200 grams of protein easily for these people.
It's so weird because I feel like the way that these friends that I have, the way that they see their bodies, it feels like, I'm not sure, I feels like they think of their body as a weird science experiment where they'll just try all these very strange things. Like they talk about
like doing all that kind of stuff. I did all that kind of stuff when I was like a lot younger. I'll put it that way. When it had like your high school friends or even like your college age friends and you're all going to the gym together and you're just like, oh, you got to try this workout supplement.
Bro science.
No, do this one. It's like, bro, look at my muscles right now. I have a lot of like, and kind of like your friends, I would like crush like creatine, like they would take like the supplements and stuff like that, where I would just like dry scoop. They call it dry scooping, where it's like you just put a little water in your mouth, put like the dry powder in, and just like slam it down, just fast.
I don't even, what is creatine? Because I've heard of it, and I know you're supposed to take it before a workout, but I don't know what it does. Is it the recovery? Does it help with your recovery?
It does help with recovery. Protein helps with recovery as well. It really helps your muscles absorb more like fluid, like more water. So people will find like they get a better pump. So you get more hydration to the muscles, just helps you get a better overall pump, which is like that, that stiffness, that firmness you feel after you curl some weights for a while, and then your muscles just like rigid. So it helps to hydrate the muscles and all that kind of stuff. So it's like, and it's one of those like natural, I'll say it's like the least reckless medication or supplement you can take for weightlifting and things like that. There's also things like nitric oxide compounds that are out there, which are essentially blood vessel dilators. So a very, like for example, like beets, like the vegetable, like beets, have a lot of components in them that are like a nitric oxide component, where it will open up your blood vessels and things like that. So things like Viagra, for some gentlemen, is a vasodilator, so it makes your blood vessels open up. So when you have that dilation throughout your musculature, you're getting more blood flow to your muscles, so more oxygen for your muscles, more energy for your muscles to pump up stuff, lift more weight. That's what those kind of things do.
Okay, so I'm hearing beets are a natural Viagra.
Hey, yeah. Go eat your beets, people.
Okay, we have our first time chat from Barefoot Earth. Orthorexia nervosa is an eating disorder for people who are obsessed with eating healthy, although not saying that's bodybuilders.
Yeah.
Yes, I have heard of like orthorexia, yeah.
Yeah, the people that just eat like extremely healthy to the point of like obsession, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this is a very on-track D&D conversation.
Yeah, so what's Killian's?
What's Killian's workout routine? Let's see. Glass of water in the morning, little run. I don't know. throws his whip around for a little while and call it a day.
Yeah. There's been a lot going on for Killian. I feel like it's been a minute since we talked about him. Tell us about how Killian's feeling while we're in Ozuled.
Yeah.
Taking these couple days.
It's been a very hectic time for Killian. Let's just put it that way.
It has. I feel like he's had a lot of things come up.
Yeah. So here I wrote all this stuff out because I wrote it. I have my notes up right now.
Excellent.
And I'm looking at them.
Let's look through your notes.
And I have this whole little subpage called emotional baggage that's going.
Yes, perfect. Open that up. Open up that suitcase. We're gonna get into it.
Yeah. So there's a lot. Just in I literally have something that's like things that have happened to Killian in the last 2 weeks. Here's what's happened. So it's like he learned that the plot to destroy his family was likely perpetrated by people inside his own order. He was attacked by people in his own order. His mother was killed by demons, but as a whole kind of involvement in this plot. Once again, just his own order kind of going against him. The highest, and then he learns that it is the people of the highest ranking member of the Protectorate, or orchestrated this whole thing, because his mother was looking into some stuff that she shouldn't have. Then we go to the Nine Hells, which Killian was not a fan of, obviously for obvious reasons, but. Not only that, he learns that his brother and father are currently in the Abyss somewhere, non-related to the Nine Hells, right? Because Abyss and Nine Hells, different things. So there's that. And then there's the gate in Thorsavin, which is on his home continent, Cordia, that is kind of the crux of all this business going on. So now they're in trouble over there. Then we got, of course, the whole Empire business, Orin, all that stuff happening that threatens all of Dion. So there's a whole thing there. And of course, this contract that we have, which, definitely and it's something that Killian, and I've talked with Kara about this, I'm going to kind of address it in the next episode with a little bit of a NPC one-on-one. Kind of just debating the moral and ethical implications of this, working with an evil to combat a greater evil for the greater good kind of thing. So it's is it okay to do that, to fight the greater evil, enemy of my enemy is my friend kind of situation, right. Is that appropriate? So Killian's wrestling with that. Not to mention, this is all stuff Killian hasn't vented to anybody. Cause he does keep it rather to himself, and maybe just hasn't been prodded enough. Because I do feel Killian's probably has the most out there for everybody. The most stuff has happened to him. So everyone's of course dealing with their own stuff. But Killian hasn't didn't say his name for the longest time with the whole party, right? Yeah. That was maybe I don't know, 8 or so sessions ago when he first kind of revealed it and had that fireside chat with everybody about his name and all that kind of stuff. And it was because he was worried about possible complications that could happen because of that. Yeah. And what happens the very next day? We all get attacked by demons. And then we get pulled into the Nine Hells. So he's like, oh my god, my name is cursed. It's happening. I knew it. It was always going to happen. So yeah. Just the little things
There's
like that.
There's so much happening. What do you think is weighing the most heavily on Killian's mind at this time?
Probably the fact that because there's so much going on. Not only in terms of his personal life, which, his family is kind of the root there of the personal issues, but also everything going on in Dion and the potential threats that are going to be there.
Yeah.
Killian's probably, I won't say the only one in the group, but probably like the main person in the group that has a, let's say, commitment to the betterment of Dion, in terms like the protecting of Dion, helping the people of Dion. Everyone else is a little bit more so, they have their own goals for like their own personal
I think
stories,
that's
like their own,
true. Yeah.
maybe their own, not to say like personal gain, but just like their own personal, like, my stories about me, like dealing with my stuff. Like, why do I care about the greater good? So like Killian has that, but he also has his, motivations that have been ingrained in him since he's been a young child,
Mm-hmm.
to protect the people as a member of the Protectorate of Voices. So Marway has his stuff with Sanctuary, so that's like his own dealings there. Zada has really his own like tribe stuff, so things that he's looking to prove something to somebody out there.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Eidos has his own kind of like, I mean, if he ever does go back to his kingdom at some point, but once again, his whole baggage is that he doesn't want that
Yeah.
responsibility. Serafina, she got stuff going on. Uh, and
She
Bula, I don't know what
cares.
she, I don't know what she's got. She cares about like how she looks and not talking to her parents. That's those two things right there, and glitter belt. And then Bula, I don't know. I don't know what goals Bula has. We're slowly. I picked up something the last time Killian talked with Bula,
Yeah,
and
would you sniff out?
yeah, it was like during the conversation, um, she had mentioned that like she was very different from the rest of her people, but that was even before the magic stuff started.
I okay, I don't want to comment too much because I already have my own theories
Yeah.
about Bula. I
Isn't that
don't
what this whole show is for? The tea? Spill the tea.
I don't know because I have my own theories. And
Yes, I want to hear them.
I don't know if I
Say it.
you all
Peer
right.
pressure.
You want to know my theories cuz I'm afraid that I'm too close to the truth. I feel like I'm getting close. I don't want to spoil anything.
Well, I mean, everything that you're saying is not confirmed. So you
Okay,
can
nothing
say
yeah. All right,
we don't know anything. This is all guessing.
you want me
If
to speculate?
whenever, yeah, hell yeah.
So, all right, here's kind of the pieces that I've put together. So, Bula, she has these powers. She's got like her flume and she's got her radiant cleavage, right? Those are not normal barbarian things. She talks about how, like you said, she's very different from her family. Something had happened where we don't talk about it because it's shameful because she's different. She's also a half orc. And also, I guess the question is why is Bula so connected to Morrowind?
Okay.
What do you?
So you think it's
What are your
so?
thoughts?
Well, from my understanding of their story thus far, it wasn't like it wasn't as though they were together for a very long time prior to all of
Precisely.
us meeting.
So
So I
what's up
so
with?
what's up with that? Bula's obviously got some kind of protector complex. It almost makes it feel like, here's my speculation. She always talks about her family, and it seems like she has infinite family members.
Mm-hmm.
So for some reason, I feel like she's like the youngest of whoever her family is.
Mm-hmm.
And it's kind of like she's protecting Marway because she's never been able to do that for anybody, because like everyone else is, older than her, or the uncle, cousin, brother, whatever the case may be. So she's the youngest, so she feels like, oh, I can actually, out in the world by myself, I can actually protect somebody. And like Marway was like the first one she saw. And it's like, I'm gonna protect this guy.
I feel like I don't want to just come out and say it. I feel like there's a connection. I feel like there's a reason why she feels connected to Marway. Outside of everything that you described, which is true, she does have that protector desire.
Yeah.
I think there's a connection there.
Do you think it's like in terms of their magic? Like because of the magic there's that connection? Is that what you think? Because it seemed as though it was a surprise to her through the campaign, right? Because, for the people watching, we started at level 1. Level 3 is when stuff started happening.
Yeah.
Right? So they had been together for a little bit at that point.
Mm-hmm.
And whether she knew she had something going on before that, we don't know.
Right.
Like,
yeah.
Like the radiant cleavage and the flumps were as much of a shock to her as they were.
Yeah. So I don't think she knows. I'm saying the connection they have is not at a conscious level. It's at a intuitive level. There's an undercurrent of connection, is what I think. All right, this will be the last thing I'll say. I think if Bula was training the other day and she was trying to get some help navigating these strange new powers that she's encountering. I think if she's going to ask anybody for help, I think it's going to be Marway. I think that's going to be the strongest bet.
You think so, huh? You think so?
Bobby says, eating popcorn, listening to the Bula theory.
Well, now he's not going to do that. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, I could definitely see...
That's what that's my tinfoil hat theory.
Yeah. I feel like she could reach out to like any of the magical people.
I think that's true. Maybe not Seraphina. She doesn't know what's going on with her.
Yeah, and I only say that because Marway's magic is not necessarily meant for... He ain't out there attacking people with it for the most part. But like Eidos
true.
does. Like I feel like kind of controlling magic and shooting magic here and there and all over that could be something that she reach out to her or you, Seraphina, about. I think. Maybe.
I feel like the person who's going to help her harness her power the most is gonna be Marway. But yeah, I think you're right.
And I'm saying that I don't think you're wrong, because I do feel like obviously that connection is there and it's so tight, but I mean, it's been a little while since this magic has started happening. I haven't seen it yet. I don't know what she's waiting for, Bula, in terms of like getting a handle on it. But
I think because it's so random. It's unharnessed, right?
Yeah. Like she's kind of figured out that it happens when she gets in her rage. So that's like, and that's not something she just wants to, like, it's hard to practice that. Like, just, all right, let's go training, but I have to get extremely angry.
Yeah, to get all worked up first.
And then this happens. So
Yeah.
a little bit harder to do than, you or Eidos just shooting off magic.
That's true. That's true. Yeah.
Yeah. Little theories there. I like it.
Yeah, I got some theories. I feel like there's still so much to unpack for Killian, though.
Yeah? What else? What else are we thinking?
Are you
What else do we want
are
to
you
unpack?
drinking the tea and the
Oh, I'm almost done it. I've come around. Come around to it.
all those years just taking straight creatine in the mouth?
Yeah, it's trained me for this. For all the chalky, terrible tasting protein drinks I've had in my lifetime. It's like, this ain't
This
bad.
is nothing.
It's not too bad. And for Bobby, I don't know if he came in at the beginning. I'm drinking Earl Grey, and at Melanie's request, I dumped in some Dr. Pepper Zero into it. So, had an interesting taste that I'm all but finished at this point.
That's gonna be your drink now.
So that's every game, every tea time. That's gonna be my drink.
Oh god. But what happens if I did too?
Please get on the train. I want you to try it and be like, what is wrong with Dane that he did not mind this?
Alright, I'm gonna try.
Clearly my palate is messed up in some way.
I don't have all the years of training for flavor and texture that you do.
It's gonna ruin your macaroon taste here.
Okay. Yeah. All right, let's get back to Killian. I feel like we haven't really unpacked the betrayal that he's experienced. This deep betrayal.
Killian's just over here stewing in it by himself. Yeah. How does one come to terms with an organization that you dedicate your entire life to,
Yeah.
and then turns out they want to kill your family,
Well,
for reasons.
yeah. I feel like, okay, here's my thoughts. Yes, Killian is in the Protectorate, and yes, he's been betrayed. I think what you talked about before is really accurate in that Killian has the highest calling and perhaps the most abstract and pure calling. I don't know how I'm describing that.
It's like one of those callings that will never be fulfilled because there's always going to be something bad out there. So it's almost like just the waves crashing against the mountainside. Like, it just years after years, like the Protectorate's been around for like 400 years.
Yeah.
There's still evil out there, right? So it is just a very like abstract protect, the people. Maybe it's more so protect as many people as you can in your lifetime.
Yeah.
Right?
I do feel like I think there is a very human desire. I think there's a philosopher named William James. His idea is that, we all have this, as humans, have this desire for like a religion, which is like what we're talking about. It's like this higher calling that can never truly be fulfilled, but it's your North Star. You point your life in that direction, and we need to have that feeling and that drive to motivate ourselves forward. I think Killian has that, whereas other people, their calling is not as high as Killian's. And so I think this my read on Killian is maybe this might be a moment where he might look to that and it's like, okay, well, it's been the Protectorate, but maybe that's just the middleman for the purest form of that calling, which is
I would say like I don't know if I've come out and say this 100%, but Killian still believes, and I've definitely said this in the campaign, where Killian still believes in the tenets of the Protectorate, kind of
Right.
like you're saying, it's not, it's a couple of bad apples, don't
Mm-hmm.
spoil, like, are spoiling, everything for him. Whereas if, the protectorate was able to go back to its roots, then
Mm-hmm.
there we go. We're all good. So that in turn is like a goal of Killian's as well, to kind of bring
Oh.
to like to like bring back like that
Yeah.
standard,
Yeah.
right? So, obviously things be going on back home for Killian with the Cordia, the Abyss, all that kind of stuff. But now he's also dealing with, threats on the middle continent, right? So it's like we got problems on every continent. And,
Yeah. And
Killian's kind of dragged
in the
both
abyss.
ways. And the Abyss, right? That third one in there. Throw another plane in there. The Hells probably. We'll probably go to the Feywild at some point. And then we're going to Eastern Continent for Zada, so it's gonna be some other giant thing over there. But but that is like, but that is the calling for the Protectorate, to be like that self-sacrificing.
Mm-hmm.
So, and in the unlikely event, but judging how sometimes these campaigns go, if Killian were to die in combat protecting someone,
Yeah.
it's not as though like he would go out with regrets. Like, even though his brother and father are still captive somewhere, they would respect Killian for dying like in the pursuit of protecting people. Like, it's like an understandable thing. His
Yeah.
family his
Mm-hmm.
family typically does not live very long lives because of their self-sacrificing nature.
Yeah, it feels like in my mind I always think of he goes to Valhalla after he died.
That's the dream.
And
I
there's
mean,
I feel like I don't know. I don't know if this is accurate, but I feel like people like that, there is somewhere in them a desire to be killed for that purpose. Like
you can
that would
just
make you
reflect on.
happy.
You can take real life as if you want to go that far. Like, people, dying for their cause, all that kind of
Mhm.
stuff, right?
Yeah.
Like, it is kind of like you're saying, that higher calling that people feel pulled towards. And, I just kind of brought that into my character, where,
Mhm.
obviously we have each of all have our like personal goals that we want to
Yeah,
strive
exactly.
for,
Yeah.
our own personal little mysteries as well. But like, on top of that, like, Killian also has this higher calling for protecting people, for run of the mill community service, things
Yeah.
like that, like just helping people, being a member of the community. So kind of spinning this towards the interaction that Serafina and Killian had.
Yeah.
How did you feel about that little trinket he gave you, the bracelet?
Yes, um I thought it was really adorable. It was a very moving moment. I think I think especially for me as Serafina, I think it was very moving, especially cuz we're in a moment for Serafina where she is kind of dreading going to see her parents, and I think she does feel so separated from them, and she's been with these people. I think it is really sweet to feel like she can have the found family.
Yeah, and so I felt like it was a good moment, because
Yeah.
we're all trying to find, like, I liked how Kara did the like the downtime stuff, where
Yeah, I
we
love
have the
that.
ability to role play a little bit more so, and pull in for those private conversations that doesn't make it feel like super awkward.
Yeah.
So, like, for Killian and Serafina, it was like, oh, look at my new horse. Let's go. Pull you along, go for a ride. And then have this kind of like conversation after every, like, the adrenaline of it like dies down, and we're
Yeah.
on our way
Yeah.
back, and we can have that kind of conversation. Um, So yeah, I thought like I was looking at and I was working with Kara for this for a little while about like things to trinkets and things to give to other players, and I have other ones for other people as well.
Yeah.
Um, like I'm sure Marway will eventually talk to Killian about the gift that
Mm-hmm.
he received from him. It's been a little bit of a whirlwind since coming out of the hells,
That feels
and
like
it
it's
wasn't
so long ago. Oh my
right. Yeah,
gosh.
exactly. So there's a lot of stuff people tend to forget after a
No,
little
I
time,
remember
but
he had a knight. He had a knight chess piece.
yeah.
I
So
remember.
things like that. Yeah, and like I kind of wrote. It's not like I was doing this off the cuff because I kind of have these things written out as to like why I was giving you that specific gift and like what Killian would want it to mean for
Mm-hmm.
her.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's kind of where I came up with like the chain link, like a delicate like chain link bracelet. Of course, there's a little symbol of Oasis on there
Yeah.
as just the sign of community, right? That you're like remember your chains, remember your connections that you have with everyone in your life, even if it's maybe not the best relationships, but it's still a relationship.
Yeah, I think the way that you described it was very, very beautifully put and it was very moving. I yeah, I was very moved. I thought it was really sweet. I think yeah, like I said, because Serafina been having trouble. She's been wrestling with not fitting in her family, and I think we're about to see soon exactly why.
Okay.
I don't know about Serafina's story, but I do know what her parents are like and what her
Yeah.
family relationships are. So I think it'll be interesting to
Which is
see.
why
Yeah.
I feel like there's a reason why you got along so well with Chiffon, aka Kittenberry.
Yeah.
I feel like we're gonna see a nice little mirrored reflection of what she went through, like at the brief example at the party, right?
Yeah, tell
Where
me.
like,
I want to hear your theories. I want to hear your
all
theories.
right,
What do you think my family is like?
um, well, this is just the impression I get from Serafina talking about it. But like I said, I feel like it's gonna be like a reflection of Kittenberry's family, how they like treat her. So like I feel like here's what's gonna happen. We're all gonna go to your house, and it's gonna be like I just be like, hey, what's up? It's me, Ados, and blah blah blah. It's like, these are everybody, and they're gonna be very like professional, like very like just the epitome of manners and decorum, stuff like that. And then it's just gonna be like little subtle jabs at Serafina, like left and right. It's gonna be like, oh, your hair is like too blonde now. It's like, what's going
It's
on with
too
that?
blunt.
And and then like they're gonna get you like by yourself, and like the first thing that's gonna come out of their mouth is like, so you do magic yet? Like little things like that are gonna like we might not see it as like our characters, but I
Mm-hmm.
feel like it's gonna happen in those like one-on-one interactions you're going to have with your parents.
Okay.
Um, Kind of just like how Kittenberry's like mom, came into her at the bathroom. It's like there are all these
Mm-hmm.
people, blah blah blah. Like it's just like those things acting one way in front of people to give out that facade, that image, and then behind closed doors acting very differently. At least
Hmm.
that's how I assume it's gonna
Okay.
go down.
Okay.
But I'm excited to be proven wrong. I'll put it that way.
Yeah. I'm excited for you guys to see what it's like. I will
Do
tell you.
you think? Here's my question for you, because you
Yeah.
know Seraphina's parents because they're
Yeah.
your parents.
Yeah.
Now, will they be impressed by Killian, or will they be like, "Oh, look at this bum, this paladin,
Because
protectorate bum"?
because of his family name, like his
I don't,
background,
I don't know. So, like, not so much his background, but just like
his
do they
powers.
respect like no like do they respect like is it just power for them that they respect, or is it like the name of things like being a protect member of the protectorate, like is that like anything that would hold esteem or any kind of regard for that, because it's probably only really Ados and Killian that have any kind of like notoriety, I guess is the way
Yeah,
to say it.
yeah.
Because it's like Bula, Zada, and Marrowway. Like your parents are gonna see them, be like, kind of riffraff you hanging around with, and then but it's like Ados and Killian are gonna be like like Killian will know how to interact with like people that are like ladies and lords. Like he knows how to
Yeah.
interact
Yeah.
with like those people, and obviously Ados does. But the rest of them, Zada's gonna go like high five your mom.
Like knock her over.
Yeah, exactly.
I will
Is
say
there armor under that skirt? What's going on there?
okay, my read, I don't know how they're going to react, but if I had to guess, just based off of what I know about them, I think they would be impressed by Killian, but I think they have a special desire, or they have a special place in their hearts for sorcerers. Because I think part of it is like moving their bloodline forward, and so I think they want, like, when they're thinking of their kids, I think they think of like matchmaking. They're like, or putting their kids with other powerful sorcerers to be in their company and to make connections
They
that
don't.
way.
They don't want no mudbloods in the family. Is that what
Yeah.
is that what it is? No muggle-born wizards and witches in the family.
Oh my gosh, I'm actually wearing I made this. I'm wearing this is a Weasley sweater. Do you know how Harry Potter and Ron, they have like a Christmas sweater with like their
Just like
name,
the letter
their
on the front.
initial, yeah.
That's great. What a seamless, relevant joke that I did. So they're just magical, like Puritan kind of people, and they're just worried about, or they just want to propagate the family line. So
Yeah.
let me ask you as well in that
Yeah.
regard. Then, what do you think their stance would be on like inter like species relationship? So in that
Yeah.
regard, I mean, like, if your family was like, not Ados, another elf gentleman
Yeah.
was a suitor for
Yeah.
Seraphina, like,
Yeah.
would they be like, that's fine because he's super magical, like, we're all
Yeah.
for it, go for it?
Yeah. I think it's not about the race. I think it's about the source of your power. I think they want a sorcerer. I think that's
Which
what's
is funny because, like, the source of the sorcerer's power is
the
their
bloodline,
blood,
right? Yeah.
right? Yeah. So I find that that's an interesting kind of thing because, yeah, like how, like, so, like, in terms of D&D, like, clerics are some of like the most proficient like spellcasters out there,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Now, of course, they pull from like divine deities and all that kind of stuff. So, like, do your parents like look down on that kind of stuff then? Because it's not like their own inherent magic; it's pulled from other sources.
If I had to guess, I wouldn't say they look down on it or that they think any lesser of it. It's just that they have an agenda, right? So it's like,
Okay.
oh, I love that for you.
Yeah. Okay. There it is. All right. I got you.
That's great.
So,
but it's
like,
not doing anything for me.
Yeah. So it's like, Seraphina, you cannot fall in love with a wizard because he's just a book nerd. He doesn't have any actual magic in him. He just casts spells because he knows the incantation.
Yeah, and I think that's part of the reason why it's been tough for Seraphina, because she's not exhibiting any of the sorcery powers that should be coming from her bloodline, right? And so, what does that mean? Yeah.
Well, I mean, we just kind of talked about that, like, on our role play when we were coming back.
Yeah,
where
that's
you
true.
said that when you had left, you didn't have the magic yet.
Yes,
right?
that's true.
It had not come out yet.
Yes.
And so Killian was just like, well, wouldn't they be happy then that you have the magic, whether it came late or early? Obviously this is just Killian coming from his naivete without knowing your family. But
Yeah.
yeah, so Yeah, I'm interested to seeing how like that kind of plays out. Like, are you gonna walk in and just be like prestidigitation, sparkles everywhere?
I think my move is gonna be to not cast magic if possible, because my fear would be that they could tell.
Oh, okay. All right. I was like, they're gonna start setting up the arranged marriages or something. Like, there's magic in her. Get her a husband.
Yeah, my I think my fear is that they would be able to tell that it's not sorcerer powers. I think it's better for them to think that she can't than
Okay. All right. That's
yeah.
interesting because you know, obviously we know what's going on with outside meta game with Seraphina, but you know, if you were just like the layman person, I don't think you would really be able to tell, you know, and it's like anime where we're calling out our attacks, where it's like Eldritch Blast,
Yeah.
hiya. You just like say some words and then however, you know, the somatic or verbal components are, and then you just poof, fire out an
Yeah.
attack. So, you know, for stuff like, you know, the crossover spells
Like the
of
prestidigitation, like things
yeah,
that a sorcerer might be able to do. I had thought of that too. Like maybe she could cast the ones that are cross
yeah,
class.
like Firebolt instead of
Yeah.
Eldritch Blast, or
Yeah.
Scorching Ray instead of Arms of Hadar, or whatever the
Mm-hmm.
spells are. You know what I mean? Like, I think that would be a cool way to like mask it in a
I
way.
think I think that's I think that would be cool. I don't know how this is going to play into it, but I think some of her spells are flavored a little differently because it's almost like Glitterbell is her arcane focus. And I
Okay.
think some of them are flavored to look a little differently. So I think that's kind of my fear too. I'll have to talk to Kara what she thinks.
All
Um
right. Here's one more question
yeah.
about Seraphina.
Yeah.
Glitterbell.
Yeah.
Is she going to be seen by your parents, or are you going to hide her? Because
I
you can
think
act like it's a familiar, right? I'm pretty sure sorcerers can have a familiar.
man, that's a dangerous move. I don't know. I got to think about it. That's
Yeah.
risky.
And I
I could
only say that
just
because
yeah.
sometimes I feel like you forget she's there.
I need to bring her out more. Maybe I should just to stir up trouble. Um
Or she like comes out on her own because she's not
yeah.
trained, you know?
Yeah, I do feel like I need to be better with Glitterbell. Yeah. I think
I,
that's
I
good
do think she's
feedback.
she's underutilized, I'll say.
Yeah.
Because I feel like you could be doing a lot of fun stuff with Litter Bell.
Okay.
There's potential for a lot of fun, whether it's shenanigans or just in terms of like the combat aspect of things. Because you know your build per se and how you have your stuff, you know, familiar magic and all that kind of stuff. The things you can do with a familiar is pretty endless. Um,
Yes, there is a reason why I haven't used her mechanically.
okay,
Yeah.
leave it at that. You don't have to answer that. That's fine.
Yeah.
That's fine. That's fine.
But
You do
yeah, for
you.
RP reasons, yes. But yeah, there's definitely reasons why I haven't utilized her like in combat. So
Hmm. Okay. Yeah. And I only and because you have the direct comparison of Marway, who's got like 8 summons out
yes,
there, right? And now Killian has one.
yes.
His mount, right?
Tell me about that. Where did Killing It is known?
Oh, all right. Let me sit down for a second and sip your tea because I got a story for you. I'm not gonna go into all of that, but yeah. So that was a fun way to bring it out.
That was
Um,
so good, and I'm so jealous. That was really cool.
yeah, that was really cool, and actually, I was slightly tearing up a little bit when Kara was like first introducing him and stuff. And I was
Yeah,
like, oh
so
god.
beautiful.
It's like It's like your childhood dog coming
I
back. And I'm just like, oh my god,
know. So beautiful.
got me right in the feels.
Where did Crash Bandicoot come from again? Exactly.
You know what, Killian's actually, I've been thinking about this. I'm like, Killian's gonna just be like very stern to people about like
He's gonna be
saying
overprotective about his
wrong.
name.
Yes, exactly. He's gonna be very overprotective about it. And especially if Marway messes it up, because I'm gonna be like on him. I'm like, I don't call your people, Humperdink and and Stanky over there, and
Stanky.
and Eve over there. I call them Hoothamer, and I call them their appropriate names. So you call Casimir the appropriate name.
Kara says that's the exact feeling I was trying to tap into. So beautiful.
Anger. or my tears. I don't know which one.
It was
she's
the dog.
about.
I think it's the dog. Yeah, your dog
Yes.
coming back to life.
It's like, have you ever seen the movie Homeward Bound? It's old like Disney movie.
Yes, I have seen this movie, but it's so long. It was so long. There's like a
long.
cat and there's a dog and they're
There's
out.
2 dogs.
There's 2 dogs. Okay.
There's 2 dogs, and at the end, it's like the dramatic thing because like the dog is like limping back home, and everyone's like, "Oh my god!" Everyone runs and grabs him and tugs him. I'm like, "Oh, that's what it felt like."
That's so beautiful.
Yeah.
It's so beautiful.
So, needless to say, to round it back, we got another summon on the table here. Not as he's going to be used more with me rather than do his own thing.
Okay.
But he also doesn't like talk or anything like that, unfortunately.
You can like put some peanut butter on his mouth.
In like it telepathically is able to talk to me, but it's not even like
Can
talk.
it really?
It's just like
Just convey thoughts.
It just so it's like I want you to like let Seraphina ride you and go over there. Like done.
Okay.
He'll go and do that. Like I don't have to say it out loud for him to do it.
I see. You can give him commands.
Yeah, exactly. Just all telepathically. So that's a pretty cool little feature.
Okay. I love that. That was a powerful moment and definitely the coolest thing anybody got.
That was pretty cool. I'm not gonna lie. Kara knocked it out of the park.
Yeah, that was amazing. Good job, Kara.
Because we had been talking about, like, I've had this ability since level 5.
Yes, yeah.
And I didn't want it to just to be
here's my horsey.
A skill, like,
yeah.
So my horse comes out in hells. Like, no, I didn't want that to happen. I wanted it to be like a impactful moment. I wanted it to be like a good role play moment is what I wanted it to be. And
I think
truly,
you did it. You guys did it. Yeah. I've been doing the same. I have a lot of spells that I haven't used, but for role playing reasons, I haven't used them yet. So
some too in my limited back pocket as a paladin.
Mm-hmm.
But there are some out there that I haven't used. I don't just have smites. I do have smites,
you got some other stuff?
It's not just all smiting. Man, that's all I want to say.
Yeah.
But yeah, so with Casimir now I got a little bit of extra tactical decisions to make. We'll put it that way.
Yeah, now we have a cavalry. It's so amazing.
And, cavalry that anyone could use, really.
Mostly Seraphina.
So, mostly probably Seraphina. Maybe Eidos if I'm feeling generous. And possibly, probably minimally is Marway because he just teleports all the time with Uthamer.
Yeah,
so,
yeah.
But probably you two to get you out or do whatever the case may be. And if Seraphina's feet get tired, of course.
Yeah, she's not taking off her heels.
I don't care if it's cobblestone. I'm not taking off my heels.
Okay. So before we wrap up, do you have any predictions for what's coming up in the next couple episodes? I know you had your predictions for my parents. I loved hearing those.
So we got that. So we still have a little bit of time in Ozolin.
Mm-hmm.
So I still think there's a little bit of time to do some stuff there. a little bit, maybe a little bit more research potentially, a little bit more RP for everybody, which I'm excited to
Yeah.
kind of see. I think, we have to travel for a couple of days.
We do have
Um,
travel, yeah. I think it's on a
I wonder.
boat. Yeah.
I think there's like part of it on a boat, part of it like in
Yeah,
a
exactly.
caravan convoy kind of thing.
Yes, I did write
Um,
it down.
yeah, so we have like that to do. I don't know how much is gonna transpire during that time. I don't know if it's just gonna be kind of just a random encounter kind of thing. But we're going to Nerdistan, and Nerdistan is the city, right? Is that what it's
Yes,
called? The
Nerdistan is the
Nerdistan.
city, yeah.
Okay, and then the university. What's that one called?
Yes. Luminara?
Luminara. Okay,
Yeah.
so I don't know if we're gonna go to the Luminara first. I feel like that's gonna be the. I think like that's gonna happen first. The
I feel like we're
Luminara.
gonna go, yeah, we're gonna go to school first.
Yeah, and then your parents are gonna get and then you're gonna be summoned by your parents or something like that. Because someone's gonna be like, they saw you there. You gotta go see your parents, and then we'll go see your parents, and then whatever will happen, there'll be a suitor waiting for you. It'll be Cool Guard. They found him. They're gonna turns
But
out
is
he's
he a
magic.
sorcerer? Yeah.
Like I would love there to be like a suitor just waiting for you there. It's like as soon as we found out you were back in Nerdistan, we called out for this guy. Um, so outside of that, I don't know what's gonna happen because we're kind of at a spot where we have multi directions we can go.
Yes.
Um, like obviously we have the lead, and it's not even like confirmed. We just have a lead on the Eastern Continent for Zada, the Yuan
We
Ti
keep
stuff.
talking about that. Yeah, we keep talking about that, but I can't tell how reasonable it is for us to go.
Yeah,
I
at
do
least
not
by boat.
know.
At least by boat. If there's like magical portal teleporting stuff, which we might be able to find out, because your someone's family comes from powerful sorcerers. I don't know whose. They shall be nameless. But there could be some kind of portal travel
Yeah.
that because otherwise it seems like any voyage across the continent is going to take
Too
like
crazy.
a couple of weeks, right? And
Yeah.
Zada keeps saying how dangerous his travel over here was. I feel like Killings wasn't too bad, but it's still a whole ocean in between the continents there.
Yeah.
So I do think there's gonna be some teleporting involved at some point
If we go to Zada's
if we go,
house. Yeah.
because the other thing, like I said, so that's the only artifact, the figurine of Dea that is in not in some like sorry not in the enemy's hands. Like we have the
Right.
mace, our
Right.
archangel has the mace, and then from what we know, the Urogs have the armor, and the Drow princess or whoever has the
Is it Teresa?
cr-
Yeah.
yeah, they have like she has the crown,
Yeah.
and then so this is like the only thing we don't know about. So
Yeah.
we still have those armies, to kind of do battle against other armies, the Devil Army, right?
Yeah.
So we got that. So it really just depends on what we kind of want to do first, I guess. I don't know. That's like, do we want to go ambush like these orcs? Do we because they're on the same continent as us? I think.
I feel like
Pretty sure.
logistically that makes sense. I wonder, I'm very curious to see what we're gonna find at the university about the UNT. Maybe that'll help us direct our search.
Yeah, I think we just need a little bit more direction. And I
Yeah.
think we could still talk with Archangel like once a day, I think, right? Like the sending stone, I think it's like once a day.
Yeah.
I
I
think.
really want Serafina to just drunk text him.
Well, sure, one day while we're just on the road traveling, just do that.
Hey.
Yeah, but we also have the sending stone to Solvok too, right? Don't we have a way
That's
to communicate
true.
with So it's like, what has he got? What's he know? He's got stuff going on. He can teleport and stuff.
Yeah.
He's got deals on deals. You know, he could probably lead us in a direction if
That's
we
true.
really needed it. It's the opposite of divine intervention and demonic intervention, devil intervention. We can use.
Ooh, I'm so excited. You know what we haven't done? I haven't used my tongue yet. I have a devil's tongue.
You got to find a. Is it? Does it only talk with demons or devils?
Yeah, I
Does it
think
let
I
you
can.
speak infernal?
I think it does let me speak infernal, and I think I can tell if they're lying. I think that's what it is. It's very
Hey,
specific.
you let that devil do that to you. I didn't want no part of that. Although Killian already does speak infernal, so he didn't want any of that. He can read it and speak it, so
Oh,
he didn't need that tongue. But yeah, it's I do think Nerdistan will be what points us to where
that's
we
gonna
need to
lead
go
us.
next.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
And if not that, then we call our the Devil Daddy, give him a call, see what's going on, and then Archangel. So we got like a couple of ways, a couple of things that can help guide us.
Yeah.
Is what I'm thinking.
Okay. All right. I like that. I'm excited to see what'll happen next session. I do feel like, yeah, I do feel like someone needs to prod Killian a little bit. So maybe I'll try to find an opportunity to ask. Well, I have to think about how I'd even start that conversation. Because there's so much emotional baggage.
I need to go on your horse for a second. All the emotional talks between Killian and Seraphina happen on the horse.
It's like when you're driving in a car, it's good because you don't have to look at each other. We can just like
Yeah. It's like Casimir's got this. Just follow everyone else. What's going on? Let's have a little heart to heart here.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Well, thank you so much for coming to tea time. I learned a lot about creatine and bodybuilding, so I'm going to go get really buff.
I thought you were good. Like, I'm going to go eat a bag of Doritos right now.
No, I'm going to go eat a bunch of beets.
Oh, okay.
Nature's Viagra.
Nature's that it's true. It's true.
Oh my gosh.
And don't eat oysters at the same time or else
I have heard of that. I have heard of that. I'll be at the gym being like, oof, it's getting too hot in here. I gotta go.
I just had my serving of beets. I gotta go.
Oh my gosh. Okay, thank you so much for coming to tea time. I will see you later. Bye, everybody. Have a good night.
Bye.
Bye.